How do you charge an electric car? Well, don't worry, it's as easy as falling over. Jokes aside, a lot of people don't realize just how easy it is to charge one of these things, and that's the point of this video, to answer some common questions about charging, including the big one, how do you charge and how long does it take? Well, like online dating, you've got options, but the most popular option for charging is to charge at home. 85% of all Kiwi electric car drivers charge their cars at home because it's really convenient and, speaking as a tightwad, it's really cheap. Option 1 is the easiest method. Simply plug in the charging device that you get with your car into a regular household outlet. Then plug in the other end into your car's charging port, and that's it. Now, this is a really popular home charging method, but it has one big downside, and that is it is slower than 90s dial-up. Yep, to charge a typical electric car with a regular household socket can take about 2 days. And that's fine if you're only doing 50 kilometers a day, but if you're driving a lot, well, you're going to need a home charging method that is a bit faster. Like this. This is an Evnex E2 7 kilowatt home charger, and this is my charger here in my garage, so I'm biased, but I still reckon this is the best home charger you can get today. Not only is it designed and built right here in New Zealand, but it's programmable, really easy to use, and it's got solar diversion built in, which means that if you're going to put solar panels on your roof, like I will myself, then it will divert all that delicious free electricity you're making to your car instead of the grid. Using one of these things is a piece of cake with its 5-meter long cable. All you do is plug in your electric car and it starts charging immediately. Or you can use the mobile app to make your car charge overnight when your power is off peak and dirt cheap, which means every morning you'll wake up to a fully charged electric car. As for the charging time with one of these 7 kilowatt chargers, they'll typically refuel any electric car overnight, but you pay for that convenience. One of these, plus the install in a typical garage, could be anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 all up. Now that's a lot of money, but it's still a lot less than a year's worth of petrol. But I've got some good news on that front. If you're an Ecotricity customer and you want to get your hands on an Evnex E2 charger just like my one, then use the promo code ECO100 at checkout and boom, I've just saved you $100. I think you owe me a drink. And that's really all there is to charging at home. It really is that simple. You can either use a trickle charger that comes with the car or install a 7 kilowatt charger in your garage. But what if you can't charge at home? For example, you might be on a road trip. Well, let's look at charging options on the go. And here's the first public charging option. This is called AC charging, and many malls and businesses and shopping centres are installing them, and some of these chargers, well, they're free to use to encourage you to visit businesses. Now, these work in the same way that the charger in my garage works, which means because these are 7 or in some cases 11 kilowatt chargers, it's still going to take quite a few hours to charge up a car from flat to full. So these are best if you're going to be parked here for a while, such as working in a nearby office, or if you're going to be shopping for quite a few hours. But there is one downside. Many of these, as you can see, do not come with cables, which means you'll have to bring your own cable, and that is an extra expense. So yes, these are handy if you're going to be parked here a while, but what if you're on a road trip and need to charge faster? This is the faster option. It's called DC rapid charging, and each one of these units can charge your electric car at different speeds. Now this one is run by ChargeNet, which is New Zealand's largest charging provider. So if you're gonna get an electric car, sign up with ChargeNet. They have hundreds of DC rapid chargers just like this one all around New Zealand, which means you can now drive an electric car anywhere a car can go on renewable New Zealand-made electricity. Now, using one of these things is a piece of cake. You've just got to select the right plug shape for your vehicle. There are 2 types. There's this one called CCS, which fits most electric cars today. Then there's the other one called CHAdeMO, and that's an older style plug typically used with Nissan Leafs. Once you've got the right plug, you plug your car in, and then you've got to activate the charger. This part's easy. All you do is use the key fob that you get from ChargeNet or the mobile app to start the charger. And that's it. Now the car will start charging. It really is that easy. The next question you want to know is how long will it take? Well, you know how the charger in my garage is 7 kilowatts? Well, this one can charge it up to 50 kilowatts, which means that a typical charge from say 10% to 80%, and that's a normal amount to charge on a road trip, with one of these chargers, it's going to take about 1 hour. But don't worry, there's an even faster option available. This is a hyper rapid charger, and every single one of these hyper rapid chargers behind me can pump out 300 kilowatts each. And that means that you can charge an electric car on one of these in as little as 18 minutes. But there's always a but. Some electric cars charge faster than others, and cheaper electric cars tend to charge a bit slower. For example, cars like the classic Nissan Leaf, which are really affordable, well, they can only really accept about 45 kilowatts peak. So even if you plug one of those into one of these hyper-rapid chargers, you're still going to be in for a wait. On the other end of the scale, cars like the sleek Hyundai Ioniq 6, well, that can accept almost 250 kilowatts, which means it can charge to 80% in just 22 minutes. And that's pretty sweet. Now that the car's charging and I got myself a coffee, we can talk about charging amounts. And you might be wondering, why do I always charge to 80%, not 100%? And the reason for that is simple, because the more you charge your car, the fuller the battery gets, the more it slows down. So that first 10 to 80% can take just as long as that last 80 to 100%. So therefore, I'd recommend not charging your car to 100% on a road trip unless you really need to, or maybe you're just busy shopping and you forgot. Speaking of which, if you ever need to know what your level of charge is, you can use the ChargeNet mobile app and it will show you right there on the screen. Saves you running back and checking on the car all the time. Bottom line is, each electric car has a different maximum charging speed. Therefore, if you're going to be doing 1,000 Ks a day, then do a little research before you buy one and make sure your electric car charges quick, like really quick, quicker than me on a bad speed date. And that's all there is to charging an electric car. It really is that simple. So we're hitting the road now, but the question in your mind is probably, how much does it all cost? And, well, it's a lot like buying petrol in the way that it depends how much electricity you put into your car's battery pack. For example, if you charge off solar panels off your roof, then, well, it's free. Like, no, really free. Alternatively, if you're anything like me, I'm on the EcoSaver plan from Ecotricity, which provides 100% renewable, climate-positive electricity, and a full charge, which would give me about 400 kilometers, it costs about $14. Alternatively, if you rapid charge like you just saw me do, then you're probably looking at somewhere around $50, and that costs more because you're paying for the convenience of being able to rapid charge on a road trip. The next question on your mind could be this big one, and it is, where do you charge on a road trip? And, well, you've got options. If you want to know where all the chargers are, ChargeNet's website or their mobile app shows you all of the ChargeNet chargers in the country. Or, if you want to include the smaller operators, perhaps like petrol stations, you can use an app called PlugShare that shows you absolutely everyone. Or if you're anything like me, you don't want to learn new stuff, you don't want to do all the thinking, you can use an app that does all the thinking for you. It's called A Better Route Planner and it's completely free. You can also use A Better Route Planner's website if you don't want to use your mobile phone, but all you do is chuck in your make and your model and then where you want to go. And it will tell you which chargers to stop at and for how long you should charge to minimize any downtime. Honestly, A Better Route Planner makes road trips in an electric car an absolute breeze. Other questions I've been asked are, can you charge an electric car in the rain? Well, the short answer is yes, of course you can. It doesn't matter if there's raindrops on the plug. Every charging option you've seen in this video has safety mechanisms built in to make sure that you can charge your electric car, rain or shine. And that's all there is to charging an electric car. It really is that easy. Even I can figure it out, and look, I can barely spell my own name. Plus, it's cheaper than buying petrol, and if you're running your house and your car off Ecotricity's 100% climate-positive renewable electricity, you can smile while you drive knowing you're leaving the planet in a better place for your kids and their kids.